Hello everyone, this is Yamini Seni and we are going to start a new chapter today, that is from class 9 subject science chapter 6 tissues. So what are tissues that we are going to talk about? So let us start this chapter. From the last chapter we recall that all living organisms are made up of cell. In unicellular organism, a single cell performs all functions. Like we had already done that in the previous chapter, that we have two types of organism. One is unicellular, which are the single cell organism, which perform all basic functions. Like for example, amoeba we have. So a single cell carries out movement like intake of food, gas phase exchange, excretion. All the things are done by that particular single cell in single cell organism. But if we talk about the multicellular organism, then we have millions of cells in it. So, and those cells are specialized in multicellular organism, and they perform their particular function. Like a group of cell is performing, you can say, or forming an or organ which are going to perform a particular function, like for example liver, stomach, or your muscles, your tissues, and so on. So now like this, so in human beings, muscles are the ones which contract and relax, and due to that contraction and relaxation, we can move our body, or we can move our hands, our legs, and other parts of our body. What are the nerves cell do? So what is the role of the nerve cell? So nerve cell carry messages. Blood flows to transport oxygen, food, hormone, and waste material, and so on. So these are the things which we had already done about the human beings and their multicellular nature. Now let us talk about the plant. Like in plants, vascular tissues conduct food and water from one part of the plant to the another, that is xylem and phloem. Xylem is responsible for water and mineral transportation, and phloem is responsible for the food transportation. So now what we have is, so multicellular organisms show division of labor. So cells specializing in one function are often grouped together in one body. So like the cells which are performing obviously that if a particular group of cells is performing one kind of function, then they will form a organ, or they will form some kind of you can say a team, a group. So now this means that particular function is carried out by a cluster of cells at a definite place in the body. So this cluster of cell, called a tissue, is arranged and designed so as to give the highest possible efficiency of function. Like blood, phloem, and muscle are example of some tissue. So if I ask you what is tissue, so look, this is the cell we have, and if I have so many cells like this, they are forming a group, and this group of cell, this cluster of cell, is performing a particular function. So this is known as tissue. So if I ask you what are the examples of tissue, so you have to tell me that it is phloem, blood, and muscle. These are all the example of tissue. So now let us come to the next paragraph. A group of cells that are similar in structure and work together to achieve a particular function forms tissue. Okay, so now let us come to the 6.1. Are plants and animals made up of same types of tissue, or there is some difference? So let us find out. Let us compare their structure and functions. Do plant and animals have the same structure, or do they both perform similar function? So there are noticeable differences between the two. So what are those differences? For number one, that plants are stationary or fixed. That means plant cannot move. And on the other hand, human beings or animals can move. Since they have to be upright, they have a large quality of supportive tissue. About which one we are talking right here? We are talking about the plants now. So as they have to stand upside or upright, then they have to have some support. So that support is coming from the tissue, supportive tissue, and the supportive tissue generally has the dead cells. Okay, so animals on the other hand move around in search of food, mates, and shelter. They consume more energy as compared to plants. Most of the tissue they contain are living. So if I ask you that which of the following has the dead tissue as growth tissue or supportive tissue, so that is the plants. Or if I ask you that the another one about the human beings, so their tissues are living, most of them. Okay. So another difference between the two, so let us see the number 2 difference. Number 2 difference is between animal and plant is in the pattern of growth. Like the growth in plant is limited to certain regions, while this is not so in animals. There are some tissues in plants that divide throughout their life. These tissues are localized in certain regions based on the dividing capacity of the tissue. Various plants tissues can be classified as growing meristematic and permanent tissue. So what are the two types of plant tissue? Number 1 is meristematic and number 2 is permanent tissue. So let us know more about it. Cell growth in animals is uniform, so there is no such demarcation of dividing and non-dividing regions in animals. So this is meristematic and permanent is about the plant cell or the plant tissue. If we talk about the animal tissue, so we don't have such kind of demarcation, like some of them are living or some of them are non-living. So we don't have meristematic and permanent in animal tissues. Okay. Now let us see the next thing which they are saying. Also, this fundamental difference, the structural organization of organs and organ system is far more specialized and localized in complex animals than even in very complex plants. This fundamental difference reflects the different mode of life pursued by these two major group of organisms, particularly in their different feeding methods. So what is the third difference? That is their feeding method, how they feed. So also they are differently adapted for sedentary existence on one hand, that is plants, and active locomotion on the other, that is animals. Contributing to this difference in organ system design, it is the reference to these complex animals and plant bodies that we will now talk about the concept of tissue in some more detail. So now in this page what we have done is, number 1, we have learnt about that there are unicellular and multicellular organism. Now what is tissue? Tissue is a cluster of cell which are came together or work together to achieve a particular function. Okay, number 2 thing which we have done in this page, that is plant and animals have different kind of tissue. Plant tissue are divided in two on the basis of living and non-living tissues. One is meristematic and the other one is permanent tissue. And if we talk about the animals, so animal cells, most of them are mostly living. Okay, so till here we have done in this page. Now let us come to the next page. So we have the question over here, what is a tissue? So we can write down this definition over here, this one. Now second one is, what is the utility of tissue in multicellular organism? So again, to perform different function or to support organ and organ system, specialized tissue are needed in multicellular organism. So we can explain our answer like this. Now let us come to the plant tissue. So what are there in the plant tissue? So first one, we know that there are two types. One is meristematic and the other one is permanent. So we are going to talk about the meristematic first. So let us see an activity, that is 6.1. Take 2 glass jars and fill them with water. So we have to take 2 glass jar, we have to fill it with water. Now take 2 onion bulbs and place one on each jar as shown in the figure. Observe the growth of roots in both the bulbs for few days. Measure the length of root on day 1, 2, 3. On day 4, cut the root tip of the onion bulb in jar 2 by about 1 centimeter. After this, observe the growth of root in both the jars and measure their length each day or 5 more days, and record the observation in table like the table below. So what you have to do is, you have to keep 2 jars and you have to put 2 onion bulbs on it, and make sure that the root part of the onion bulb is below side of, or it get touched with the water. And what we have to do is, like, we have to record their length, the length of the root, and then after that, after few days, we are going to cut the root by 1 centimeter of the onion bulb which is there in the onion jar too. Okay, so now length, so after that we are again going to measure the length. Now what happens is, from the above observation, answer the following question. So we have to answer these question now after doing this activity. So first one is, which of the two onion has longer root? Why? Do the roots continue growing even after we have removed their tips? And why would the tip stop growing in jar 2 after we cut them? So what happens is, the one in which we cut the root by 1 centimeter, we have observed that after that it will not grow. So the growth of the plant occurs only in certain specific regions. This is because the dividing tissue, also known as meristematic tissue, is located only at these points, depending on the region where they are present. Meristematic tissue are classified as apical, lateral, intercalary. New cells produced by meristem are initially like those of meristem itself, but as they grow and mature, their characteristics slowly change and they become differentiated as components of other tissue. So what is happening over here, that is, meristematic tissue are the dividing tissue. Okay, and this is not present all over the plant body. No, it has some regions, like as we can see in this picture: apical meristem, which is at the apical, intercalary, which is at the mid of it, and the lateral one, which is at the bottom. So now apical meristem is present at the growing tip of the stem and roots and increase the length of the stem and root. The girth of the stem or root increases due to lateral meristem, that is known as cambium. So another name for lateral meristem is cambium. That could be a 1 mark question. So intercalary meristem, seen in some plants, is located near the node. What is node? Node is the adjoining between the branch and the main stem. Okay, so cell of meristematic tissue are very active. They have dense cytoplasm, thin cellulose walls, and prominent nuclei. So they are talking about the now speciality of the meristematic tissue. So what are all these? We have over here is number 1, these are very active. Number 2, they have dense cytoplasm. Number 3, they have thin cellulose walls. And number 4, they have prominent nuclei. Number 5, they lack vacuoles. Can we think why they would lack vacuoles? You might want to refer to the function of the vacuoles in the chapter on cells. So what is the function of the vacuole? Vacuole is the one which in plant cell they just grab the space, empty space, and if they will grab this empty space in this apical meristem or another part of meristem or meristematic tissue, then they will just secure it, or the dead particle or the dead portion or the unwanted substance or the waste material will get collected into the vacuole. But in this particular portion, meristematic, where the cells are dividing, there is no waste material and we need more and more space to grow, to divide. So that is why vacuole are absent over here. So this is the answer of it. So now we are going to do till here only in this class. We will talk about permanent tissue in the next class. Till then, keep reading. Goodbye.